Hello, Super Sam.
Hello.
It's been a while since we've done this, actually. It's been a couple of weeks or so. So, you all ready to go?
Yeah.
I'm going to learn about ecology today. So, I'm going to be writing one or two things down. Um,
Economy?
Ecology.
Eco-
And one or two sort of definitions, really. This is the first one. See if you can pronounce this word. Can you read that?
Ecosystem?
Ecosystem, yeah. And this is the total interaction. Sorry about my spelling here or my writing. Total interaction of living
Creatures.
biotic and non-living abiotic,
Abiotic?
abiotic um, parts of an environment.
Hmm. Environment. You're
Okay,
right.
read that out for us then.
Ecosystem. Total annihilation of living biotic. Um, I can't read that. Total interaction of living biotic
And non-living
and non-living but abiotic
abiotic parts of an
parts
environment.
of
Okay, let's go through it again. The total interaction of living biotic and non-living abiotic parts of an environment. Okay. Okay, just sit back a little bit, Alf, because you're right forward. Do you need to move the camera so that you don't have to stretch so much? Feel free to move it if you need to. Um, Now, what we mean by biotic or living things in an ecosystem, well, what we mean by that is, say you've got like a load of very strange looking creatures here. There you go. There's one. There's another. And it's the way in which they interact, okay? They may interact with trees, which are also living, or other animals. Here's a strange animal here. It's got a strange sort of hat on, this creature. All right. And these are all living things, and the way in which they all interact, the way in which they behave towards one another.
So
Um,
like, so like when you're about to grab something,
yeah, grabbing, whatever you like, really. But they all interact. Some of them might eat
each
others. Some
other.
might, yeah, and some of them might be therefore predators or prey. Some of them might feed off the other ones. Some of them might even get diseases off one another. Who knows? But these are all living things, aren't they? And they
Mhm.
all interact in a certain way. Now, there's also non-living things. So, for example, we can talk about the temperature. Temperature. Imagine if it's really cold. That might affect these creatures, mightn't it?
They might turn into ice cubes.
They may turn into ice cubes. In yes. Or if they are in a river or something like this, let's have a look at some biotic things here. There's a
Food,
biotic thing.
fish.
Here's another biotic thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
And what happens if there's a big old factory over here that's pumping loads of pollution into the river? What might happen?
Um, it, if it's about to jump into the water, it might
Hmm.
die.
Yeah, well, the water might become more acidy, mightn't it?
Yeah.
Because of all of the rubbish that this factory is pouring in. So that would be an abiotic, because, whether the water is all acidy, that isn't whether it's living or not, is it? Um, so a biotic is a living factor, and abiotic is a non-living factor. And, things like
Um,
temperature, acidity, pH we call it,
why
um,
are
all affect it.
why
Go on.
are why is the left side the bottom and the right side covered with cyan things?
They're supposed to be reeds that I've drawn there. They're supposed to be like little sort of, um,
Private things?
no, just like little reeds that they can feed off. I'm going to read you some other biotic and abiotic factors, see if you can remember some of these. Biotic factors include things like, um, biotic factors include things like the availability of food, whether you can get food, um, things like competition between different creatures, chasing foods and stuff like that. And new diseases, I think I mentioned that actually, didn't I? Abiotic factors, things that are non-living, include things like levels of different chemicals like oxygen or carbon dioxide. And we can measure this. So we can measure, for example, how much it rains. That would be an abiotic factor. So the way in which all of these different factors interact within a certain area is the complete total of all of those is called an ecosystem. That's what an ecosystem is, right? So just to recap, Alvin, John, what is an ecosystem?
An ecosystem. An ecosystem is like some abiotic and biotic.
Factors, yes. Can you think of any good abiotic factors?
So like um a if there's a river and there's a fish and it has food, and it has a house under the ocean, and
Hmm.
there's a factory and it's pumping um some black liquid into the river, then the house will be unable to be seen, and then if it tries to go search for it, it will die.
Okay. What does abiotic mean, though? Does it mean living or non-living?
Living.
Abiotic,
Non-living.
non-living, whereas biotic means living factors. Okay. We're going to move on. So